based on like a low carb living, and it's like really confusing to know like which carbs are like the healthiest carbs. So that's why we break it down into like the fast carbs and the slow carbs, and you're probably like really surprised to see like what foods are actually like fast carbs. So fast carbs basically mean like they have a higher amount of sugar. So when you eat them, carbohydrates turn into sugar into your body. So that's what these are. They're going to turn into sugar like really fast. So if you eat these by themselves, they're going to, not only they're going to spike your metabolism straight up and send you into fat storage mode, because we know our fat cells eat sugar and carbohydrates, right? So if you're only eating this, so like for example, say you eat like a pear by itself, like yeah, there's vitamins in this pear, but this is a fast carbohydrate. There's a lot of sugar in there. So you just like spiked your metabolism and sent your body into fat storage mode instead of keeping it stable. The way that you can combine foods together to make it a fat burning meal, we talked about how you can balance off your carbohydrates to make them into a fat burning meal. So every time you eat, you got to think about these, okay? So the first plate is the protein and a fast carb. So for example, you could have a pear, and then for a protein, what would you want to have with your pear? You're going to look through.
What's the equivalent of, are like fast carbs and slow carbs kind of the equivalent of like a fibrous carb and a starchy carb? Or
well,
no?
the fast carbs are more starchy carbs, yes.
Okay.
And the fibrous carbs are the slow carbs.
Okay.
Yep, because they don't have a high sugar content in them. The sugar content is lower than the fast carbs are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why you're going to notice, like, look at your slow carbs are all like your vegetables.
Because they're higher in fiber.
They're higher in fiber and they're lower in sugars compared to the starchy ones. So they're not good. You ever heard of the glycemic index?
Yes.
So the glycemic index just measures all the foods and how much sugar is in them and how it reacts to your metabolism. So these will not spike your metabolism as fast as these will. These are slower ones. So like strawberries compared to a pear. Okay? So with your pear, so say for breakfast, you put your protein, so you have like scrambled eggs and a pear. And that's your breakfast, that's what you would have. And that's a fat burning meal right there. That's perfect. So these foods right here, like cabbage, cauliflower, lettuce, celery, radishes, mushrooms. These are what we call like your free foods. So these you can eat in abundance because they're higher in water content, they're really low in sugars, they're awesome foods you can fill your plate. Radishes.
Oh, radishes.
So you can fill your plate with these. So if you feel like, oh man, I'm only eating like this little bit of food with it, you can turn this into an omelet. So just take some radishes and mushrooms and celery and cook those up. And you want to add a little bit of fat to this. You have some fat with the egg yolk, which is perfect. We love fat because fat makes us feel more sustained, keeps us fuller longer. So if you want to add a little fat, you're going to saute. So you're going to saute in like a little bit of butter. No margarine, just butter. And there's your fat burning meal. You got your free foods, your protein, and your fast carb. And that's breakfast. So say what time do you wake up at? 5:30. So 5:30, you want to eat within an hour of waking up. You don't want to wait longer than that because you've already been sleeping for 8 hours. So you need to fuel your body. So if you wake up at 5:30, you want to be eating by 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock, this is just an example, you would have this for breakfast. A couple of hours later, like 8 o'clock, you're going to eat again. And then 10 o'clock, you're going to eat again. 12 o'clock, you're going to eat again. The more you eat throughout the day, the longer it's going to keep your metabolism in fat burning mode. Your metabolism is going to be nice and steady all day, and the pounds are just going to shed off. Does it make sense?
What if you have some kind of like dessert that's like junky? Okay. But what would be the best way to eat it?
Perfect. That's what this methodology is based on. It's not giving up the foods that you love. It's like fitting them into a fat burning meal. So, for example, perfect example. So ice cream would be a fast carb. Here's my ice cream. Where are you, ice cream? The ice cream. Oh, there it is. Yummers. All right.
That is a really, really big
Yeah.
ice cream.
Well, let's mix like the cream and the walnut. We'll talk about all that. Let's just look at the
Just
ice
ice
cream.
cream, yep.
The ice cream is a fast carb. What could you add for a protein?
Like peanut butter.
Peanut butter is a fat. Peanut butter is a fat because
I mean, you
the
wouldn't
fat
put,
content
like,
is
I'm not
higher
gonna
than the
eat, like,
protein.
Would you say like chicken? Like you're gonna eat
No,
chicken?
you can take protein
Oh,
powder.
nuts? I mean,
No, nuts are a fat.
okay.
Yep.
So they add protein.
They have some protein in them, but the fat content is higher than the protein, so it makes it a fat. That's why. So like sausage, you think, oh, that's a protein. No, this is a fat. The fat content is higher
Okay.
than the protein. That's how you think of it. Right? It's like
So that's why you could have that with eggs.
a little. You wouldn't want to have a whole bunch of salt, like a
No.
little bit of it. You would, instead of like butter, if you're gonna
Yeah.
cook your eggs in butter, you would cook your eggs in a little bit of Italian sausage. So now you get some of the fat from the sausage, you get a little bit of protein from the sausage, not very much, and then you're gonna cook your eggs with it, and then you would add your other carbs. But for this ice cream, you could take your protein powder and you can mix that with like a little bit of water, and you can make like a hot fudge. So say this hot fudge right here was protein.
Okay, yeah.
When you're looking at nutrition facts for protein powder, you want to definitely make sure the protein is higher than the carbohydrates.
Yeah.
For sure. That's the number one rule
Okay.
for it. And don't think about calories when you're thinking. Well, that's why this method is so great, because you don't want to think about calories. If you're eating like whole natural foods, like the calories, they're not important because you're getting all that. You're getting all that food and you're getting all that nutrition, and it's just little amounts that you're eating throughout the day. So that you don't want to like fixate. We don't fixate on calories anymore. We're looking at like carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are really the culprit because we overindulge in them. And when you overindulge in them, that's when you send your body into overload, what we call overload, and now you're in fat storage mode. When you've eaten too much, and you're like, you start like sweating a little, and you like got a stomach ache, like you just like overloaded yourself. So that's why we want to keep our metabolism steady. So with this method, you can go anywhere and have anything. So say like, you didn't have the protein, a hot fudge, like what could you do?
Yeah, like if you're out like at an ice cream place and you're getting an ice cream, like
Right, how are you going
bring
to?
like a granola bar. I don't know. Like,
You could bring like a protein bar with you.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely, you could do that, and you could crumple it up and put it on top of it. That's the only way
Okay.
you're gonna get Wouldn't that be awesome if we had like a high protein like ice cream truck? And if I had like 5 of me and I was rich, all the businesses I would have. The other thing is like tofu is an awesome food to like mix into things because it incorporates all the flavors. So if you get like silken tofu and you puree that up, and you just put like a little bit of chocolate in there, and now you have like a chocolate tofu pudding kind of thing, and you can put that on top of your ice cream. And you would never, chocolate tofu pudding is like the best ever. So really, if you took, tofu would be your protein, and then you take, say chocolate would be your fast carb. You melt that down, you puree it all up together, and now you have a high protein pudding and a fat burning snack.
Now you said, what kind of tofu did you say?
Silken tofu.
Silken,
Yeah.
okay.
This one is
that's the
yeah.
best. That's the best kind to get to. It's smoother. Or
Yeah, it's
something.
smooth. That's the one you can like make desserts out of and
Yeah.
smoothies. The firm one, that's the one you would like cook up and saute different things with. So like for a fast carb, if you did like, you're gonna do like a vegan pasta, you would saute all these vegetables up with your free ones again. So you got like your celery and your radishes. It's like if you were gonna work out, this is something you want to eat like before you worked out, because you got like a fast carb and a protein together. This isn't something you want to have like all the time. If you're aiming for like a low carb lifestyle, then this is the one you want to aim for. So you have your protein, your slow, your slow, your slow. So 3 slows. So let's say we're gonna have, I want to have steak.
and sorry, you said slow carbs with the fibrous kind of
Yes,
equivalent?
yep.
Okay.
So there's your protein, you got steak, and then what do you want to have with it for your slow carbs? You can pick 3 slow carbs. So you want to do carrots or
Broccoli.
broccoli, okay. If you love broccoli so much, you can have a serving of each of those broccoli, like a half a cup is a serving of broccoli. So you could have 3 servings of broccoli if you wanted to. If you wanted to mix it up a little bit, you could do like green beans, and then if you want to like jazz it up a bit, you could do strawberries with it. Obviously, or you could do peppers instead of strawberries if you're making like something like that. That's a fat burning meal. you're gonna notice there's no fast, there's all slows there.
So those are green
Beans.
beans.
Oh, green beans, okay, that's all, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to think that it was something that it wasn't.
So you can have a protein and 3 slows, or a protein and a fast.
And a fast. Yep.
Or what was the other one? A protein and a fast and a
Yep.
slow?
So the this one is a 1 to 3. So 1 protein to 3 slows, and then the other one is a 1 and a 1. A 1 protein to a 1 fast.
So they're equally
They're
good
all
as
fat
far
burning
as-
meals. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's just like what you're craving, you know what
Okay.
I mean? And then the last one, this is kind of like, you know, a universal one that you see at like the dinner table, typically, if you want to see, is your protein, your fast, and your slow together. So again, let's say we're gonna have meatloaf. What do you typically have with meatloaf as a fast carb?
Potatoes.
A potato.
I have a question with meatloaf.
Yeah.
With meatloaf, you put breadcrumbs in it, or
Would you? There's your question. Thank you. So if you're putting breadcrumbs in your meatloaf, you just used up your fast carb. Do you absolutely need to put breadcrumbs in your meatloaf? No, you don't. It's just meat. Take the meat and bake it in a loaf. Like
Is it the same with meatballs? Like you could just
Exactly,
make
yes.
a ball of meat
Yes,
with
you
like
don't- yes.
spinach
Why
in it or
waste your
anything?
fast carb? But yeah, you
And
can
it'll
put-
stay like that?
Mhm. Yeah, it has
It
all
just
that
speaks
fat in it.
firmer.
About
speak
sometimes
firm like a
put it
burger,
in-
no?
in it
It's a loaf.
to keep
A
it
burger is
together.
just like you take a meatloaf and you smush it.
But that's the thing with a meatloaf. It's supposed to be soft and moist.
It
and
will be
that's what
soft and
the-
moist. I feel like if you totally want to put breadcrumbs in your meatloaf and waste your fast carb,
Yeah.
go for it, girl. But if you put breadcrumbs in your meatloaf, you ain't having a potato.
What
you
about what about an egg?
Yeah,
In
you
the
can put an
meatloaf?
egg.
Mhm.
Because there's already fat in the meat, I would say just use the whites.
Oh,
You
okay.
bump up the protein
Yeah,
that
because
way.
because usually that keeps
binds it together.
Yeah, binds it together.
Mhm. It binds together regardless, whether you
Oh, well,
put like
yeah.
the eggs or the,
Yeah.
you know, like.
All right.
Now, some things, like I'll see recipes for, say, like a muffin for breakfast or something, and it'll say that, like, high protein muffins, and I look, and there's like 5 grams of protein. That's not even close to enough, right?
Yeah, so flip your paper over. This is awesome. This is super important. So when you're looking, so like a muffin, something that's like a high protein snack, like a fat burning snack, you're going to take the protein grams. You're going to take the fat grams. You're going to take the fiber grams. And you're going to add all of those up,
What was the last one?
the fiber. So you're gonna add all 3 of those up, okay? All 3 of those need to be higher than the carbohydrate count, the total carbohydrate. If all 3 of those numbers are higher than the carbs, you have a fat burning snack. So if that muffin only has like, with the protein, fat, and fiber, like 10 grams of everything, and has like 20 grams of carbohydrate, that's a fat storage snack.
Okay.
You don't
But
want
so
to eat it.
say it had like the 5 grams of protein, but it had like another couple fat and fiber, and it was more than the carbs, it's fine.
It's a fat burning snack.
Even though the protein's not that high, like.
Because you're combining all of those
Okay.
together. So
Okay.
you got to think about when you eat the fiber, fat, and protein together, it's going to slow down that carbohydrate intake when you eat it. It's going to slow down that sugar that's going into your body. So your body can like figure it all out. Instead of blasting the pancreas and the insulin and everything comes out, you know, all at once, it's going to balance out the hormones that actually burn fat, basically. Makes sense, doesn't it? You never want to eat a food by itself, like a banana. You're not going to eat a banana by itself. That's a fast carb. How could you make this a fat burning snack?
Protein?
Always. What kind of protein would you want to have with it? So again, if you were going to make a smoothie, you could take like your tofu. So now you have your protein, you have your fast carbs, and then you can add strawberries to it. And then you add some ice and some water and you blend it all up. You can add condiments too, just a little, like a little taste of it. Here, these are your condiments, so you can add like a little splash of something if you say, oh, kind of not too sweet, add like a splash, a little bit of maple syrup to it. And that's your fat burning smoothie right there. Everybody thinks
Most of the smoothies that I got,
they're
they all
fast.
have a banana with all the other stuff.
Mhm. This is a whole nother methodology of eating. Like this is how you stay in fat burning mode. Like you don't want to eat a high sugar smoothie by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
You're just like blasting your body with an overload and you don't feel good after. And they're like, yeah, there's so many vitamins. Yeah, there is, but there's way more sugar than the actual vitamins. So with this, you're like balancing it out, you know? So like a yogurt is a fast carb. There's a lot of carbohydrates in a yogurt. There's like 26 grams. That's a lot. You want to aim for like 15. So that would be a fat burning smoothie right there. Or you could do the protein powder. You know, it's up to you how you want to do it.
What about pizza? Like, so the crust will be the fast carb. I don't know, there's like all the cheese.
So the cheese is a
And then I know
fat.
you'd want a protein, so like put chicken or something on it.
Exactly. So you want like
whatever.
3 ounces of the chicken. You got it. You got it. You're perfect. So you have your fast carb. You have
The
your fat
cheese.
from the cheese is the
The
fat.
fat, okay.
Yep.
The fast carb is the crust.
Yep. The fast carb is the crust. If you want to add a slow. So
Like peppers and
peppers.
chicken or something?
Yep. A
or-
whole bunch of veggies. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm, right here. Veggies.
Chicken, okay.
And then you could do, or if you did like hamburger or something.
And then what would the sauce be? Like just an extra something? Or
It's a little bit of a fast carb.
Okay.
Yeah, so you want to go for thin crust pizza.
Okay.
You know, always thin crust because that crust right there,
Yeah.
that's a lot of carbs.
Yeah.
You know, so thin crust pizza and then bulk it up with extra stuff. So that's that one. So like, let's see. So a sandwich, this turkey sandwich. How would you break this down if you're gonna have a turkey sandwich? How many fast carbs do you think?
So the
Two
bread
slices
is the
of bread.
fast
So
carb.
how many fast carbs is that? Two. So you're only gonna have 1 slice of bread. So this is already too many. You're out of the fat burning. So you want to take 1 slice of bread, and then you got the protein, which is the turkey, and your slow carb
Tomato and the lettuce.
and the lettuce. And if you're like, it's like not enough, add a salad to it. Your salad is your free food, so you can bulk it up that way. Because this little half sandwich on your plate, you're like, really? So you want to eat the salad with it too, if you feel the need to do that. And you can always add a little bit of mayonnaise because you get your free condiments in there, and you get a little bit of fat too with the mayonnaise as well. So let's say you didn't want to have the bread. You want to eat a different fast carb instead of bread. What would you have in place of it? What was the question? If you didn't want to have bread, because you're like, oh, I don't feel like wasting my fast carb on bread, like I'm over bread, like, what do you want to do? What could you have in place of your fast carb? Yeah, if you could make a salad with it, break the turkey up and put it in, put a little bit of croutons on it, perfect, yep. You could even do, so for example, if you had like a cheeseburger, fast carb, you're gonna take those away, you just use the lettuce, you wrap it up in a lettuce, and then you can have a little bit of french fries with it. So it's the idea of like you're not eating all these fast carbs together. You get 1 fast carb if you're gonna eat this way. Okay, but I would say like a majority of the time you should try to go like slow carb. If you're gonna eat like this one, or if you're gonna eat like this one, these are more like during the day, and this one's more like at night. Because at night you're not moving around as much. You're kind of like cooling down your day, if you will. If you think of your lifestyle as like fitness all the time, like in the morning you're like, yeah, let's go. It's like your cardio. You're going here, you're going there. So you're like, yeah, I'm gonna eat my fast carb, and I'm gonna go to work. And you're like 3:30. You're like, oh. So you're like here, right? And then you get out of work and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to go home. And then you're here and you're like, your metabolism slowing down a little bit. You can eat up to an hour and a half before you go to bed. Your metabolism doesn't know it's 6 o'clock. You're still up and about, like you need to eat, So like if you go to bed at 9 o'clock, you say your last meal is going to be around 7 o'clock. If you go to bed at 10, your last meal is going to be at 8:30. If you go to bed at midnight, you're eating still at 10 o'clock. Small meals throughout the day. So if you guys ever want to meet with me, send me a message and we can do a whole meal plan for you. We can do supermarket tours, you can do cooking classes, I'll show you how to prep anything that you want. But this is super helpful. Like everybody downstairs should have came to this because everybody needs to know how to eat like this. It just like makes sense, doesn't it?
One of the girls usually comes, but her husband got sick, so she had to go back home to
Yeah,
care.
you have to
I
share the
had
words.
in the beginning, well, in the middle of the challenge, Sue Eldridge, I know she's from
Yeah.
All Generation. She told me like kind of basically like how to combine things, and it helps so much.
See,
like
and that's why
every
you're
night
like a
for
rock
dinner, I
star.
have like the chicken, a sweet potato, and broccoli, and like the fast, the slow, the protein, whatever.
So like, let's say you have like fried chicken. What is that? Fried chicken
Protein and fat,
and
carb, fast carb.
a fast carb. So now you would know, okay, I have my fast carb with the fried chicken, I have my protein, now I need to add a slow carb to it with my veggies, you know. But if you didn't want to have fried chicken, now you can do like grilled chicken with like mashed potatoes and like vegetable.
I have a question about fast carb on a fried chicken.
Mhm.
Say most people do white flour. Coconut flour. Does that make a difference?
Yeah, because white flour, we're cleansing our bodies up.
Yeah.
That's like when you start this program, it's like a 21-day cleanse, like no artificial. We already talked about this, like, you know, when we started our fitness challenge journey, what we were cleansing our bodies from, like the white flours, the sugars, the artificial sweeteners, those things. So we don't eat white flour at this point anymore. So when we're dredging if we're making our chicken, yes, we're making it in coconut flour or we're making it almond flour. We don't even have white flour in our cabinets at this point in time. But if you go out to eat, at least you can balance it out that way. You never know what they're putting in it, but at least you can break it down into your head as like fast protein. But it's always protein first when you're going to build your meal. Always. Protein is so important. And you can see just from this, like, look at how many fast carbs there are in this world. Like, it's crazy. Crazy.
So what do you consider the best proteins? Because so peanut butter you don't consider.
No,
protein,
peanut butter is
it's
a fat. Yep.
Okay, nuts are a fat.
Nuts are a fat. Yep.
So like I know
sunflower seeds are a fat.
chicken, like turkey, all that
Cheese
stuff
is a fat. Cream cheese is a
protein.
fat.
Then what would more? Yeah, fish is a protein.
Fish
so
is
usually I have
awesome.
chicken or fish, and that's what
Yeah.
and eggs are the proteins for the 3 different meals. But
Yeah, all
is
these
there any-
proteins are great. I mean, this ham, obviously it's gonna be high in sodium. You wanna
Yeah.
watch your sodium intake.
Yeah.
For a meal, it's about like 700 milligrams. For a snack, it's no more than 400. But, you know, we don't have to go too crazy. The only time you're gonna go too crazy watching your salt intake is, you know, if you have hypertension or your doctor says for you. But right now we're like salt deficient in the United States because everybody's like so crazy on like this low sodium thing. But, you know, for a meal, you just want to kind of, you know, look at that because you don't want to swell up like a tick. You're trying to fat burn and not retain water. So, you know, so like turkey, this would be best if you just got like a turkey and like you sliced it up yourself. Tuna, awesome.
Oh yeah, tuna.
Tuna is an amazing protein.
forgot about tuna.
Shrimp is an amazing 5 shrimp, 20 grams of protein. Okay, I'll eat your shrimp.
I
Bacon,
like lobster though. How about lobster?
lobster, yes. Chicken,
Bacon?
legs, steak. Oh, my cucumber. That's a free food.
Oh, good. I was going to ask about that.
And
That was,
fish
that was
always.
a question I was going to ask you, and then somebody else talked, and then I said, what did
See,
I want to
it
ask
creeps
you?
back
Now
up.
I know.
Cucumber was
Cucumbers are a free food.
Okay.
Any vegetable that has like a high water content in
Oh,
it, that's going to
oh,
be
alright.
because not only
Yeah, 'cause
you
I
know
think-
you're getting your vitamins, but you're also hydrating too.
Not watermelon though, right?
Watermelon's a fast carb. So you could have watermelon on your. How would you make your meal? If you want, you're like, I really want to eat watermelon, but you don't want to eat it by itself. You're at a cookout. You're like, ooh, that watermelon's delicious. I love watermelon. It's like Paula's favorite. Somebody downstairs made a watermelon wrap. So they took cottage cheese, which I don't know where it went. It's hiding somewhere.
Is cottage cheese a protein?
It's a protein. It has 11 grams of protein.
I
in
know.
it.
I never
And it's really
have
low in
had cottage
carbs.
or ricotta or any of that
Yeah.
stuff, and I've read stuff on it. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize there's so much protein in it. Maybe I
I
should
don't
try
like
it.
cottage
So if you
cheese.
super love watermelon, you know, well, I was thinking it was a slow. I was like, oh, we can go crazy with it, but we can fast. Where's my cottage cheese?
Who's that?
Okay, let's say we'll flip it over and say it's cottage cheese. So she had cottage cheese for her protein, and then she had lettuce for a slow. So it was like a lettuce
How about like
wrap roll up.
using that?
Yeah, you absolutely. See, and then
I
you're
can't
like
see
at your cookout, and you're here. So you're at your cookout for like 6 hours. How many times can you eat at that cookout? If you're eating every 2
3
hours?
times.
3 times. So you eat. You give you a chance. A couple hours go by. What if you want to have a glass of wine? This is a fast carb. So you can do
With
it
the
here.
piece of chicken.
So you're gonna give up your, or you could take a little piece of this watermelon and put it inside there. Just get jazzy with it. We love watermelon and all. Just a little bit, okay, you know, because it's too fast carbs. Or you could do this here with your salad.
Have watermelon and cottage
And
cheese.
then say you're having
Give that a try.
That's how you would incorporate wine into a fat-burning meal. Not to say you should have wine all day long and eat this one. You're like, I'm just have chicken and wine all day long. Like, no, that's not the way it works. You gotta mix it up a little bit.
Glasses.
Yeah, oh my God, it sounds like tomorrow. So, you know, just mix it up a little bit. You be responsible with what you're eating, and you know, think of the colors that you're getting. You still want to get all your colors of your fruits and vegetables in. You know, you don't want to be eating like this carb all day.
Oh,
but
question. So Greek yogurt I use as a protein. Is that a fast carb?
how do you figure out if it's healthy? You gotta
So
add
look
things.
at the okay.
Yeah.
So
A lot
it
of
might
times-
depend on the brand
Yeah,
and stuff.
what I do is I'll just eat like a half a serving of the Greek yogurt, and then I'll add protein powder into it, and then I'll you know, add peanut butter to it, and that's a fat burning
Okay.
snack. So you get the fat and the protein and the carbs from the Greek yogurt. Because
Okay.
there's like 20, I think there's like 20 something grams of carbs, even though there's 15 grams of protein, you know. And a lot of times it's low
So
fat.
do the
I get
same
so
protein
excited when I
stuff
see
that-
yogurt with fat in it. I'm like, thank God they put the fat in the yogurt, you know? Like, because here I am trying to like add avocado oil to things. It's like nice when it's already, because we went into this low fat craze and everybody took
everything's
fat out
just
of
about
everything.
low fat.
Yes, and that's not the way it is.
What about wheat germ?
Yeah, wheat germ's awesome. It's a fat
Because
carb.
that's what I usually do sometimes. I put it in the yogurt.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep, just like a little sprinkle of it because
Yeah.
it is a fast carb. You could dredge your chicken in it. I make what I call my healthy shake and bake. I'll take like wheat germ with like garlic powder and like red pepper flakes and shake it all up with like pork chops and chicken, things like that. And now you just can't have the potato with it because you just like dredged it in your fast carb. But that's okay because you get 3 slow carbs with the chicken, or 1 slow carb. This makes sense?
Yep.
Feeling good? As we leave you into your next journeys, let's try some eggplant parmesan. Clean up all
What
these.
was, Jess,
Yeah.
what was that? Shake and bake?
Wheat germ,
Garlic.
garlic powder, onion powder. I do a little bit of salt and pepper, and then you just whatever.
Okay.
You could do like chicken fried steak in it. Nothing's great. You can order these online and just have fun at home making your own fat burning meals. You guys can make your own fat burning meal right now and try to do it right. So if you look at it, it says what's your protein source. So pick a protein that you want to have. And what's your fast carb going to be? What's your slow carb going to be? What do you want to add for fat, condiment, and your beverage? Which should always be water.
How about the fruit infused water?
And is it fresh fruit infused? Yeah, that's fine.
Now I drink a lot of tea, like that Teavana stuff. Is that not count toward?
It might have fast carb in it. You're gonna look at it and make sure there's no there's no sweetener in it. And you want to make sure, that's the thing with like coffee and tea, if it's caffeinated, you never want to drink it by itself. You want to have it with one of your fat burning meals. Because caffeine, what does it do? It spikes your energy level. And where does your energy level come from? Your metabolism. So you drink coffee by itself, there goes your metabolism, right into fat storage.
So decaf is fine. Like all the
Yeah, decaf is
decaffeinated
good.
ones, I don't have to worry about drinking with something
Right.
else. It's fine.
Yeah, but if
Okay.
you feel like having a little bit of caffeine kick, you better be eating a fat burning meal with it.
Here in America, we have our stigmas of what's for breakfast, specific kind of foods, and what's for lunch,
Yep.
and what's for dinner.
Yep.
If you're going by this, it really wouldn't matter
No.
what,
Never.
like you could have dinner for breakfast.
Exactly. So when you go out to eat,
I want
and
to
they're giving you a
see
huge
you, I
portion.
want to record you and see that so I can tell
Oh,
my husband.
absolutely. I always
Because I
have
grew
breakfast
up
for dinner.
basically like leftovers dinner for breakfast.
Yeah.
Because I loved it, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
but
As long as you're in your fat burning criteria and you're eating your portion sizes, you're good to go.
Mhm.
So like when you go out to eat, a lot of times they give you a lot of food.
Oh, yeah.
So if
I
you're
do.
in your
I
fat
bring-
burn, yeah, bring
I
it
have
home.
like 2 meals out of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
3,
Mhm.
depending on how big the
Yeah.
food is.
and
what-
then have it
what
for
is-
breakfast.
So when you go out,
Well,
and
you know,
if you're
I
having
heard
like
that
spaghetti and
that was
meatballs,
good to do.
what is that? How does that break down?
That's
spaghetti
fast
Spaghetti's
carb
the
and a
fast
protein.
carb.
and a protein. So you can have that by itself, and that's your, because you can have a fast carb and a slow carb together. So like a half a cup of pasta is only this much, remember? And like 4 meatballs. And how can you bulk it up?
Veggies.
Veggies, a salad with it, like a big salad. Just go crazy with the salad. And you can put a little bit of dressing on it for the fat too, you know.
Should have got my stuff too. Because with Amanda, I was supposed to bring my salad dressing recipes and share them, but
Oh, to make.
to make, yeah, because I can't stand the store-bought salad dressing.
All you need is oil and vinegar, and then you can do like
Right, but then
strawberries,
they're-
watermelon, cherries,
Yeah.
pineapple.
I make French, I make curry, I make maple syrup flavor. I have not tried the fruit ones though.
So what do we got for our meals?
Sweet potato and slow carb is broccoli.
What are you gonna call that? What do you have for your fast? Oh, sweet potato. Oh, nice. Are you gonna bake it? Are you gonna mash it?
I just like make it in the microwave and then I mash it up. I
Oh,
don't put
perfect.
anything with it. Sometimes I put a little cinnamon on top.
I can put a little bit of butter too. Perfect. Hello. How are you? It's okay. What do you got?
Bacon French fries
Bacon, French fries, and
and broccoli.
broccoli. So remember, French fries, like the size of the palm of your hand. That's always a guide for a portion size. Look at the palm of your hand. That's where, how much you should be eating. But with salad, it's. What do you got? Chicken, pear, and broccoli. Yummers.
Everybody's doing broccoli.
What do you got? Broccoli?
I've got chicken, sweet potato, and green beans.
Ooh, nice. So you guys
Put
got it.
fat in there because I didn't know what fat to put.
Well, you can
Because
put a
the
little bit of
chicken,
fat
I
on
would
your sweet
probably-
potato with the butter.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, or your
I
green
thought
beans.
of butter, but I didn't know where I
We
would
love
put
butter.
it.
You can saute your green beans and your sweet potato.
That's all
with
I
butter.
use now. I don't buy. That's all I'm buying is butter now.
Perfect. Yeah, that remember the healthiest
And I-
fats are coconut oil, olive oil,
And I
and
thought I
butter.
have that too. I think with that, if I'm going to saute
I
anything.
went shopping at Market Basket and the Kerrygold butter is the,
There, I've seen it.
It's
Oh, maybe not a
$3.99.
Market Basket, but I saw
Yeah,
that Stop and
$3.99.
Shop or Shaw's.
I think
Stop
it was
and Shop is
$3.99. It's $3.99.
So
And
just real quick, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What is that?
So a fat and
2 fast carbs.
What's the jelly?
fast.
There's 3 fast carbs and a fat with no protein in there. So how would you bump up your peanut butter and jelly? Do like a half a you could get a low carb wrap, and then you can take the silken tofu and you can puree it and mix it with the jelly. So now you have a high protein jelly, and you can also obviously you can't put all the tofu, like it might taste a little weird if all the tofu's in the jelly. So it takes half of the tofu and put it in the peanut butter, and half of the tofu and put it in the jelly, and your kids will never even know they're eating a fat burning, high calorie, high protein meal.
How do you spell the silken?
It's like because you have lots of
Silken, it's S. How do you spell
No.
silken?
Yeah.
SLIKEN. And it's
Oh,
right,
okay,
right
just like
on,
it looks.
yeah, it's right next to like where the salad dressings are in Stop and Shop, like next to the produce. You can puree that into everything.
So that's not like, but it's almost acts like a protein powder. Like you can kind of
Yeah,
use it as
yeah,
a protein, mix it
soybeans.
in with stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, high protein. All right, we're gonna try our zucchini lasagna here. Here's the recipe. So this meal's 2 servings. 1 serving has 19 grams of protein, 17 carbs, 6 grams of fat because we're rounding up. So this
My
is
daughter-in-law
awesome.
gave me a tool to make the zucchini spaghetti.
Oh yeah, I love that thing.
Oh, I have one, the spiralizer
Yeah,
thing.
I tried it. I finally
It's
got
good.
to try it, and what I did was I didn't know how to eat it, so I ate it in a
This is
salad.
my homage to
So
my
half of
dad
it
and how
in the
he
salad
would make
with
his
oil.
cheese.
I use it as pasta. Like
Yeah,
I just
well,
put pasta
then
sauce on it
then I
with
had
whatever
some,
you
my
put.
husband made some pork chops, so I says, I gotta have something like that. And I says, oh, I know, I still have some of this little zucchini. So what I did is I warmed it up and I made it like a spaghetti. And I made it like a
I'm
spaghetti.
gonna cut it in half this way. For this one, I cut it in thirds because the pan was a little smaller. So now it's not round anymore. You can like stand it up and you can just cut down like this. And you want pretty decent thin panels. You don't want them to be too thick. I mean, if you want them to be thicker, you can. It's totally up to you. It's just going to take a little longer to cook. And then that's how you're going to start. That's your lasagna noodles, basically. And then I just took ricotta cheese, which would be a
Protein.
protein. There's protein in that. This would be a
Fast carb.
fast
Fast
carb. This is a, well, let's
That's
see.
cheese.
This is like a half fat, half protein because there's 5 grams of protein and there's 5 grams of fat, so they're equal. So it's like a double whammy. I love that.
What kind of cheese is that?
The
Oh,
mozzarella.
mozzarella, okay.
And then you got your ground beef because I added more protein to it. So you just saute up the beef until it's all cooked. I also added black beans to it as well to bump up the fiber a little bit.
Okay.
And what would beans be?
A slow. No, I don't know.
Yeah, they're a slow carb. Yep, they're a slow carb. And the zucchini is
A slow carb.
it's a slow carb. Yep, a slow carb.
Can I see the ricotta?
So protein, slows, fast, and then you got your slows.
Yes,